This is Lewis up for Boxing Social in association with Empire Fight Store Forged Irish Stout. Delighted, as always, to be joined with Spencer Fearon here in a lovely day in the UK. You are clearly outside, and has everything all been good with you, mate?
I'm clearly outside in my garden, and yeah, everything's proper. Even better for seeing you, Lewis. How you doing, man?
All good, mate. All good. Can't complain when I'm speaking to you, mate. And I can't complain when boxing is at the place it is in at the moment. So we'll get right into it. Suppose firstly we'll touch on Monday's business. There was a nice bank holiday Monday boxing on for us with pound for pound star Naoya Inoue stopping Luis Nery after coming over. I mean, his own adversary getting dropped for the first time in his professional career, then sort of coming back with three brutal knockdowns. Suppose for yourself, what did you make of the performance from the monster?
I knew he is exactly his nickname. He's superb. You know, Tokyo Dome. Was it 56,000 people there? The guy, I'm on the reels. It's like he doesn't speak any English, right? He doesn't need to because he's multilingual in his fistic art of destructive punching power and skill, and he's a really good fighter, man. He's an incredible fighter.
I was going to say that when it comes, you mentioned in there about him not speaking English and him being sort of multinational when it comes to his punching power. It brings me to sort of Tim Bradley's comments when he was saying, you know, he needs to come to America to be a star. But I suppose when you see 56,000 people at the Tokyo Dome, that isn't really the case in his own right.
Let me tell you this, yeah, is there is a profound arrogance in the Western world that we have to bring things to America. Those days are done. Turkey Al Sheikh is showing you that those days, seriously, this is the start. This is the catalytic movement that's going to change everything. Where you don't. He came out with a rock guitarist legend, right? Come on, he doesn't need to go to America. That's nonsense. Right now, America needs to go to Japan.
Yeah, I think. And I suppose when it comes to someone like Inoue, and a lot gets said, you know, he's a 4-weight world champion, and you know, people are always going to make fantasy fights with himself moving up. When you see how hard he hits and the way he fights, where do you think his ceiling could be at what weight? Do you know what I mean? Is it you know featherweight or super featherweight, or you know where do you feel like you know where this ceiling could be?
I don't know. Similar to Manny Pacquiao, he could really fly through the weights, right? And the thing about it is this: he's more pleasing to the eye than maybe. I mean, he's more pleasing to the eye than Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. Right? I'm gonna be real with you. Manny Pacquiao had a really herky-jerky kind of style, right? Yeah. Don't get twisted. Manny Pacquiao was superb, absolutely superb. One of the greatest fighters ever to do it, right? Yeah. But there is something to me more tangibly understandable about what Inoue is doing, and he's superb, and we can't take nothing away from him. He's a 4-weight world champion, right? Yeah. He's an undisputed champion right now, and he's just cleaning up. He is a pleasure to watch. And not only that, I like the fact that he got hit, he got hurt, he got dropped, right? But I like how he responded, and he cleared his head. And I wouldn't suggest that any fighter was to go and do that, what he did, because he got hurt. He was hurt. When he got dropped, he got hurt. That was a very sneaky from southpaw position, left hand, boom, that he got hit with, yeah? Mm-hmm. And he battled back, and he battled back. But it seemed like his head was pretty clear, but maybe it wasn't, or maybe he's just got such a good poker face. You know what I mean? Yeah. But he's incredibly fit because Nery can punch. Don't get twisted. He can really punch. He can bang. So yeah, a pleasure to watch, man.
Well, His Excellency done an interview with ESPN, I suppose a couple of days ago, and he talked about September 21st at Wembley being a potential date for the return of Anthony Joshua. And he also did mention about Naoya Inoue being on that card. I suppose before we get into, you know, who could be next for Joshua or that card in itself, to see that there's investment from, I suppose, His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh coming outside of Saudi Arabia. We see the Crawford Madrimov card. We see September 21st. He also talked about UK versus USA 5v5. Sort of how promising is that you know, this is a guy who came and he's really cleared up boxing, not just in his own country but in other countries as well.
You got to say this, yeah, that credit where credit has to be given, and I believe like someone like Turki Al-Sheikh could start off his own world governing body, similarly to what we've got with FIFA, right? And it'd be their whole governing body for the whole of boxing, where we have a correct ranking system. We have a different kind of scoring system, because there's been a lot of controversy on scoring, right? And how scoring is being perceived, right? And I believe that Turki Al-Sheikh could do that. I think it would be excellent if he was to do that, to have one world governing body. You know what I mean? Bring it back to the old days, in having one world champion per weight, right? Because he's doing that kind of anyway, because people are fighting over there and making fantastic money. And not only that, so you don't need for TV networks, we need to put eyeballs on because you're a world champion, and we got 58 world champions in one weight division. No, rubbish. So I believe that Turki Al-Sheikh could do that, and I think he could go. He started already with Fury. He started already with Fury and Usyk, right? So unify them out, and then once there is one unified champion, right? Everybody else does fights and fights just like the old days, where great fights can be made. They haven't need the title of having a world title behind it, because they're just great fights. And I think that's what Turki Al-Sheikh, I think he understands that. And because he understands it, to me, that's fantastic, because you're going to have to wake up anybody's going to have to wake up very early in the morning to say that they've studied more boxing than me, right? So let's bring it back to the old days, right? But for the new days, let's bring it back there, where great fighters fought great fighters, right? And it was no shame to come in second best, because you'll get a chance to come back and fight again. And that was the sport, right? Now people are so frightened to protect these magical O's that do not exist, that we're forgetting the greatness of men that did it in the past. We're forgetting it. We're forgetting when great men fought great men, not for world titles. Didn't make a difference. They were great fights.
Do you think that there has been a change in that mentality? Because sort of more recent, obviously in the Floyd era, it was very much protect your Rose, but as we see more often than not, you know, you'll see a fight like, you know, Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia. You know, I know that there is some controversy around that, and that's two young fighters who are putting their records on the line. Garcia obviously fighting Gervonta Davis as well, and you know, other fighters, you know, Tim Tszyu against Virgil Ortiz, two young fighters. So do you think that there is? I know that's obviously a fight that His Excellency's made, but there is a slight change in fighters who they are more willing to take risks.
I think they're willing to take risks now because there's a reward behind it, right? Yeah. And the reward is the financial gains, because you are actually a prize fight. What's the prize? It's financial gains, right? So if someone's coming and saying, well, here is this amount of money, you're going to think, well, I want to go get the bag. But I think the reason why I think it's good as well is because certain guys who ain't going to get the bag, potentially, not going to get the exponential figures that they've got flying around in their head hypothetically, and they think, I can grab that. But you still want to pit yourself against the best, because it's going to lead to you for fighting for that bag, right? Yeah. And what I realized with what's going on in Saudi as well, if you come in second best, it doesn't mean that your career is done, because there could be somebody else who's coming second best, and we can match you up together, like the 5v5, just like we're seeing Zhang versus Wilder. These two men in their last respective fights came in second best to a one Josie Parker. But there's no shame in that, because Josie Parker, I would say, is the most improved heavyweight in the world. Yeah. Right? But at least you're getting an opportunity to go fight each other now, and that's great.
Definitely. I suppose just sticking on the topic of September 21st, Anthony Joshua, that's obviously the rumor return for him. A few opponents in mind. I think obviously, as you mentioned there, a fight with Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, one of the fights mentioned. Another one being Philip Hergovich and Daniel Dubois. Obviously him and Daniel having that I suppose you could say rumors of having history together with obviously rumors sparring stories. But ideally, when you look at the pick of the bunch of heavyweights at the moment, what fight do you think would commercially, I suppose, be the biggest that could do a Wembley Stadium fight with Anthony Joshua at the moment?
It'd still be anti Joshua Wilder. It still would be that, right?
Yeah.
Especially if Wilder was to come out victorious against Zhang. If Wilder could knock out Zhang, but I don't know where Wilder's head's at right now. And Zhang literally can punch. So, and Zhang's got that coughing kind of overhand left shot, which is a hurtful shot as well. But so, but really and truly, this is how I see it. Similarly to when Lennox Lewis defeated Evander Holyfield November 13th, 1999, and became the undisputed champion in the free belt weight era. What happened was Lennox Lewis subsequently got stripped of the WBA crown, right? Subsequently, then Evander Holyfield went and fought John Ruiz.
John Ruiz, I was going to say.
Ruiz for the title, and became the first man in history to win the title 4 times, right? But we never really counted it because we're saying, well, Lennox Lewis is champion. So it didn't really matter that Lennox Lewis got one of the belts taken away from him because Lennox was the guy, right? And then subsequently from then, Ruiz beats Evander Holyfield, and then Roy Jones went up from middleweight all the way up from middleweight to middleweight like heavyweight, and then defeats Ruiz for the WBA crown. Don't matter. We're still looking at it like Lennox Lewis is the undisputed king, regardless they didn't have belts anymore. Because so I think the same thing's gonna happen with Tyson Fury. The winner of Tyson Fury and Usyk, the titles are gonna get fragmented. Right? Then it's gonna give a chance for Philip Hergovich, because remember, it's only 2 weeks after. That right, and I think the IBF will strip the winner because there's a 2-fight clause. Then the IBF will put in place for Hergovich and Daniel Dubois for the heavyweight championship. And if Daniel Dubois comes out successful in there, we're gonna have 2 British guys fighting in September. Was it 21st? September
21st. Yeah.
Right, it will be for the heavyweight championship of the world. Then the winner of Fury and Usyk fight again, and then they end up fighting Joshua. And that's what's going to happen.
Definitely. For sure. I suppose we'll just quickly move on. Another thing I did want to get your opinion on, Spencer. Obviously, it's a developing story at the moment, but I suppose as we sit here on Thursday, the 9th of May, Ryan Garcia tested positive twice. I suppose 2 positive drug tests for Ostarine. He recently had a test come back negative for nandrolone. I think it was there was micrograms in that. The B samples, obviously, he's requested that to be tested. That comes back 22nd of May. But I suppose when you look at it from a surface level, a guy who missed weight, had all the things sort of going on in the build up, and after obviously failing 2 pre-fight drug tests, where as a guy who is sort of perceived as a face of boxing, we saw what Ryan Garcia has done after his win with Haney, the sort of tour he's been on. How poor a precedent do you think that sets for boxing to see that?
You see what, the fact that he's failed a drug test?
Yeah. 2 drug tests.
Well, you know what? I'm saying like, right, he cheated. I'm looking at his demeanor and everything else. He cheated. But you know what? It was like a smidgen of something that was found in him, right? It wasn't, right? And I'm just going to be raw. Emotions can get the better of me. I know Haney family really well. But hopefully he's innocent, right? Simply because his backstory is really good. You get knocked out by a tank. You're a guy that registers challenges, regardless of all the crazy stuff that you were behaving prior to the fight and all the rest of it. But you came out victorious. Drugs or not, the problem there when it's like Devin saying, like, well, I was fighting a guy. That was a cheat. Let's wait until the 21st. Or was it 21st or May?
22nd of May.
22nd of May. Let's wait till the 22nd of May before we can make any real conclusions. Because at first, I said, he's a cheat. No. All the rest of it, let's wait till then, and then we can say what we want to say. I mean, now I can take emotions out of the situation.
Yeah. I suppose. Do you think attitudes? I don't know. I spoke to Dave Cobble yesterday actually, and we talked about. Do you think attitudes have changed when it comes to suppose positive drug tests? When it's more now, let's wait for the conclusive evidence, as we saw, with the Conor Benn saga carrying on. Do you think that all that since I suppose post that whole saga that has played an effect where people may have different attitudes when it comes to guys who test positive for PEDs?
It does, but like I'm saying, let's wait for. That's crazy. Let's wait for the next to come out, and then you know what I mean. Let's just wait. Yeah,
completely fair enough. I suppose one thing is a bit left field, but I did want to talk to you about it, Spencer. I saw a video of Bugzy Malone the other day hitting pads. We know the sort of boxing experience that he's got, and he's always sort of been tempted about boxing. I don't know what interview it was, so I apologise for this, but he was talking about a potential fight with Floyd Mayweather, and he's talking about
the interview that he did with Eddie Hearn.
Yeah. Eddie Hearn, okay, yeah, sorry, yeah.
Really good interview, really good on the BBC podcast or whatever, really good.
And he was also talking about, he's comparing it to the fight with Logan Paul, and he was saying about, he thinks he could catch Floyd, and if he did, he could put him away. I suppose the idea of that fight of Floyd almost gone on this tour of fighting, he fought Aaron Chalmers, he fought Deji and that, and it looks like the next one could potentially be Bugzy Malone. I suppose where do you think about, or where does it sit with yourself?
What I do know is this. Jet Set's the company that made the proposal towards Bugzy Malone. It's a group of millionaires. One's a massive football lawyer, Mr. Kramer, who I know. No doubt he's Jewish, right? But he's a very nice guy. And it's genuine. It is a genuine offer. When Bugzy was saying, someone approached me about, it is 1,000,000% genuine, right? Oh. And I like the fact where Bugsy's saying, I want a guy in there anyway, because Bugzy, I'm telling you this now, Pat Barrett, who I know really well, Bugzy could do his thing. He's got hands. It's not like, you're just gonna. And there's no disrespect to Deji and the other guy from Geordie Shore or those kind of guys.
Yeah.
He can actually fight. You know what I mean? But you're still dealing with Floyd Mayweather, so let's be real, right? It's still Floyd Mayweather. But it is genuine. And I think they're trying to do it in the OV in Manchester. So I know that it is genuine. Genuine. It's not no joke, it's genuine.
Is there a point though when Floyd fights these guys when he could bite off a little bit more than he can chew? I know Bugzy Malone has no boxing. I don't know how much boxing.
He boxed in amateurs, and he was under the tutelage of the great Brian Hughes. You know what I mean? Was it Danny Solius? So, but it's still Floyd Mayweather. I don't care how old Floyd Mayweather is. It's still Floyd Mayweather.
But is there a point where there would be enough weight discrepancy for a guy like Bugzy to do you think that there's any chance?
No, it's not a case like me saying he's got a chance or not. No. I would just because I've heard like Bugzy do a diss track already calling out Floyd's name on it already. I've seen that, right? And I'm saying like one thing for certain is this: that Bugzy would be going to try a thing. He'd be trying to. He would try, but yet again. We are talking about the greatest fighter of this era. That's what you're talking about. I don't care how old he is right now. That's like me saying, Lennox Lewis is close to 60 now. And I'm saying, Lennox, I want you to go and fight someone in the Southern Era title fight right now. I still expect Lennox Lewis at nearing 60 to knock out somebody. That's me just being real. And so that's how I see this. But what I do know is that the offer is genuine, and I do wish that it happens, simply because I know I'll get ringsides.
Yeah, for sure. But I suppose just before we
you get the hook up as well, Liz. You and the boxing social boys.
I appreciate it.
You're family now. You're family.
I appreciate it.
But, and it's mad. Before... I remember you look at you there with your goatee now and everything. I remember you were a little kid And now look, you got bum fluff grinding like heavily and stuff. I'm really impressed.
Yeah, I appreciate it, but I'm trying to grow it out a little bit. I appreciate it, but I suppose just before we do finish off this interview, we did see a recent photo posted by Tyson Fury, who looks in great shape. Looks at seeing potential abs ahead of Saturday the 18th. His fight, Saturday the 18th of May, fight of Alexander Usyk. I suppose it does it gear clear now. Everyone's always going to be flip flopping, but I suppose how excited are you for the fight next Saturday? That fingers crossed, all bearing that we are going to get an undisputed heavyweight champion for the first time since 1999.
It's crazy, yeah. So we've got 25 years that we haven't had an undisputed champion, and now we have the opportunity to have the undisputed champion. So I am really, really looking forward to seeing that, man. Like, yeah, I'm gassed for that. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I mean, for sure,
I am gassed for that.
I suppose, Spencer, I just want to say thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really good to be catching up with you once again. I suppose just before we doing this off, any sort of fight, any message you'd like to say or anything, any final credits?
No, I'm just looking forward to next week. I'm looking forward to seeing like us having an undisputed champion in so long, which means so much, and I'm just so grateful that I can get to talk to you guys at Boxing Social.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely. I'm grateful as well to be speaking to you, Spencer. As always, mate, thank you for taking time to speak to me. Really appreciate it. And yeah, all the best. Catch up soon, mate. Top man.
Yes, my bro. Salute. Take care.